Hi, everybody. Happy New Year to those who celebrate it. I hope you're all having some opportunity for some downtime and well-deserved relaxation, perhaps spending time with friends and family, eating well, resting well, etc. As you know, we won't be back in person until February 1st, and even that's not guaranteed. The world will have its way with us, whether we make plans otherwise or not. This means that we're going to have to do things a little bit differently in the capstone. We'll have to do a little rethinking. But as they say, this is not our first rodeo. So we have plenty of tools with which to approach remote learning since we've been there before. For the capstone, I'm proposing an overarching theme, which I put in quotes as hindsight as foresight. And what I mean by this is that I want us to ask the question, how might we use things that we, as a society, as the world, have gotten wrong, have gotten right, and lots of stuff in between. How might we make use of those lessons to make the world a better place going forward? In particular, one that's better prepared for the next crisis, whether it be a public health one or something else. Now, we'll structure the class as we had planned before, as if we are, as a class, a design consulting firm that's chosen to tackle this question for the next few months. So we'll do some research. We'll think about how the skills that we've learned in the BI relate to the insights that we identify in that research. And then we'll embark on individual and or team design projects that are based on those. Now, the purpose of a capstone, the reason it's in the curriculum, is to provide you with an opportunity to tie things in your degree, in your studies together, to figure out what your BI looks like, and how to produce something that you can add to your portfolio as evidence of what your BI was about. And I emphasize your here, even though we have a relatively fixed curriculum, what you emphasize, what you focus on, what skills you've particularly built are different for each of you. And we want to sort of think through, like, what does it mean for me and my education in each person's case? And that's going to be the basic requirement for the course, that you produce something that works as a capstone for your portfolio. The other requirement for the course will be that you participate as an active colleague throughout the semester. This means sharing your work in progress for others to give you feedback on, and giving constructive feedback on your colleagues' work in progress. And we'll describe more about the process for that as we go along. So how are we going to get started? Now, some of you have elected to do a project under the supervision of one of my colleagues, and that's fine. We'll still expect you to be a part of this class, of the endeavor, but obviously most of your deliverables and most of your time will be spent with you, determined by and spent with you and your supervisor together. So our schedule will include some activities and some sessions that we'll expect you to participate in, even if you're doing work with someone else. On that, also more later as we go along. We'll think of those folks as members of the firm who've been seconded to outside projects. Everyone else we'll refer to as working in-house. So everybody who's registered for the course, both in-house and seconded, should come to the first meeting. It'll be online, obviously, where we'll talk a little bit more about how that scheduling will work. In anticipation of that first meeting, I have two assignments for you, one of which applies to everyone, both seconded and in-house, and one of which is only for those working in-house. The first that applies to everybody is to read an article written by a friend and former teacher of mine named Daniel Chambliss. The article is called The Mundanity of Excellence, and it's linked to in Quercus. Ostensibly, this article is an article about Olympic swimmers, but actually it's about the life you're about to embark on. We'll talk about the article in our inaugural session, so be sure you've read it and spent some time with it beforehand. And as a part of that preparation, I'll ask you to write a one-paragraph reflection in a Quercus discussion forum. Basically just answering the question, did it speak to you? And what did it say? What do you think about it? The second assignment, which is just for the folks who are working in-house, is to start doing a little research into what people are saying are the lessons that we as a species should be learning from the pandemic. I've prepared a brief bibliography of about 25 items to get us started, but there are zillions of them out there. But I don't want you to waste time scanning and searching for them right now and trying to discern which ones are worthwhile. The ones that I've selected are reports, articles, forums, blog posts, etc., that address the question of 10 lessons we should learn from the pandemic, 15 lessons we shouldn't forget, and so on. What we're going to do is essentially an environment scan of these so that we can generate a database of ideas and observations about what people are saying are the lessons we should learn. And what we'll do is we'll just kind of collect all of these so that they become a part of what we download as a team to be aware of what's the master set of all the things that people are saying lessons should be learned. And of course, part of our thinking then is what's missing from that list, what would we add, and so on. In our first session, we'll sort through them to try to make some sense of them, to extract insights from them, and so on. So those are your two assignments.
Here's the assignment. You read some of the reports and extract lessons, and then we'll enter each lesson into a Google form. So who are you? What's the source? A short sticky note version of the lesson that's being described, a longer form of that. And then you go to Miro, and this shows me reading it in Miro. I scan through and I see the lesson here is Shore Up Systems Already in Place. And I read on here to get a sense of what they're talking about. And this looks like mostly health systems, public health systems and that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump back to the database and I'll put my information in. And this comes from source number 6, I believe. And then I put in the very short version, the sticky note version. So this is just what I would write on a sticky note. And I copied that up from the title. And then I try to write something a little longer to explain what I mean. So this is what I would say when somebody said, what does that refer to? So here I might say systems exist and we should make sure that they're well funded, making sure that they work well, and so on. And then I ask what's being suggested. So what this lesson, what is it pointing at? And here it says it's sort of quality control and funding. And then who is it that's being exhorted to do something? And I think here mostly it's government, legislators, and so on. And then who are the stakeholders? So there's the people who benefit from the system, so people who use the system. But also we have who's in the system, so people who are part of the public health system, for example. And then there's politicians and government folks, legislators, and so on. So I submit that, put that into the database. And then I go to Miro and I just put together a Post-it and I just paste that same thing onto the Post-it. So what I'm going to have is a collection of Post-its for each of the lessons that I've learned. And then when we're in class, we'll combine those together.
So I look forward to this. It's going to be fun. It's going to be different. I'll also have at the bottom of this webpage, there'll be a link to a Google form that just asks you to say a few things about your expectations, what you think your strong points are, what you hope to, what skills you hope to top up before that you finish the program, and so on. So I guess that's the third assignment, and everybody should do that. So if you're registered for the class, whether you're going to be a seconded or an in-house. Okay, that's about it. Sorry this has taken so long, but wanted to be able to look you in the eye, so to speak, and get ourselves ready to hit the ground running for the first day. See you in about 2 weeks. And again, Happy New Year. Be sure to take some time to chill. Enjoy until then, and look forward to getting going.